Of course, this is not the real photo. I just want to give you an example of what it would look like if you were a scared little government, a pathetic, scared bully who is looking down the face of 200 million people who are angry. If you're a small, tiny, pathetic government and you're scared of the people, this is what it looks like if you want to arrest a 74-year-old man. Tell me, how many real officers would it take to arrest a 74-year-old man? I'm not a young puppy anymore. I believe I could arrest Cliven Bundy by myself, and there would be no problem. By myself. And I don't even have a badge. But these guys needed SWAT teams to arrest 74-year-old Cliven Bundy, who came up from his hometown in Bunkerville, Nevada. He went up there to Oregon to pick up his sons who were wrongly arrested. And what did they do? They promptly arrested him at 10 p.m. at night, last night, when he arrived in Portland. Again, this is not the photo. This is an example of what that tiny little small bully of a government needs. They need a whole SWAT team to arrest a 74-year-old man who's done no harm to anybody, who's harmed no person at all. In his entire life, he hasn't harmed a soul. All he has done is spoke out against Harry Reid, who tried to steal his ranch. All he did was speak out against the federal government, who's trying to steal his ranch. And because he spoke out, they're putting him in jail. There's no shame. This picture I'm showing you, there's no shame to be in jail. I'll tell you why. Because when the governments get scared, they throw the patriots in jail. All the great ones have been thrown in jail. Gandhi. Fidel Castro was thrown in jail before he kicked out the corrupt government in Cuba. That little guy over in Germany who wrote a book when he was in jail, he was thrown. All the ones who have spoke out, they've all been thrown in jail. Cliven Bundy is now in jail. He does not belong there. Cliven Bundy came up to get his son out. Of course, Lavoy Finicum shot dead by a government that's out of control. This story will not go away. This story is not going away. In my opinion, everything that the government has done during this 41-day conflict, everything they've done is basically wrong. Everything that could go wrong is going wrong for them. They're scared to death. And of course, they didn't like it when Cliven Bundy sent them a certified letter. And he sent it to Obama. He sent it to the Rainbow Governor. He sent it to the Sheriff Ward. And they don't like him. They're also charging him with crimes when he stood up for his ranch a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago in 2014. They're also going to be charging him with federal charges, with that situation back in 2014. For you see, you can make no mistake about it. Portland is in bed with the federal government. It's in Portland that the federal government is going to make their revenge. This is the Harry Reid revenge of the Bundy Ranch stand-up. This is all this is. Everybody knew there was going to be revenge at a certain time. And now they said, this is the time we're going to put our revenge on Cliven Bundy. He's left his ranch in Nevada. He's no longer protected by the people in Nevada who care for him. And he went out on a limb. He went up there to Oregon to get his son out of jail. And now the federal government is enacting their revenge. That's all this is revenge. Cliven Bundy's hurt nobody. Has not hurt a soul. And now he's in jail. Portland, or Oregon, they have charged him with the same charges that they charged Cliven Bundy with, conspiracy charges. But also they say that coming down the road could be charges that stem from the Bundy Ranch from 2014. So this is what federal revenge looks like. The federal government is a revengeful, overreaching monster. They're in this big, huge government conspiracy. There's 40 million people who are involved in this government conspiracy. 40 million people working with the governments, local, state, federal. And they all work together, and this is what it looks like. SWAT teams coming down on 74-year-old men. And it gets worse than that. Because out at the Malheur Refuge, they now have United Nations paramilitary. They have mercenaries on the ground right here surrounding the 4 people that are left out there. Now these 4 stragglers, you know them as David Fry, he's 27 years old from Ohio, Sean Anderson, 48, Sandy Anderson, she's 47, they're both from Idaho, and there's Jeff Banta from Nevada. I call them the 4 stragglers. They've been separated from their unit. Their unit hightailed it out of there when they were surrounded by 400 SUVs, full, each one with 2 mercenaries attached to that SUV, when Lavoy Finicum was killed dead in the snow and left to bleed out. And most of their unit hightailed it out of there. They ran because they were surrounded by almost 1,000 mercenaries with M16s. It was probably the smart thing to do. But sometimes patriots, the greatest patriots, sometimes they're not so smart. They're brave, but they're not always the smartest bear in the woods. And that's what we're talking about here. 4 stragglers that are the bravest people I ever known. They're out there and they're surrounded right now as we speak. The FBI has closed in on them. You heard the live audio feed last night. The FBI was going to move in quickly, but there was a live audio feed to Gavin Siam, or whatever his name is, and that prevented the FBI from going in and basically killing them. So the FBI is held out. Supposedly there's now a negotiation that these 4 stragglers are going to surrender this morning. We'll see how that goes. But that's the update out here at the Malheur Refuge, where the 4 stragglers are now surrounded at close range, surrounded point blank close range by the FBI in their armored vehicles. And they're ready to take them. They're ready to apprehend them. And like I said, those 4 people are ready to surrender this morning when a friendly comes to help them. There's a friendly coming from Nevada, coming to help them, and they're going to get out of there this morning. That's the update out here. So it looks like part 1 of this saga is coming to an end. It looks like the 4 stragglers will be arrested this morning. Hopefully nobody will be harmed. They have arrested Cliven Bundy in Portland. And now we go on to the second part 2 of this saga, where the battle was done in the courts. And that fight will be a long, hard battle, make no mistake about it. This is going to be a long war here. Remember, this war is not going to be over in 1, 2, 3 years. This battle with the overreaching monster of a government, this battle will go on for many, many, many years. It could go on for 10, 20 years, who knows, longer. The federal government is not going to stand down. The federal government is never going to admit that they're wrong. That's the whole point here. The federal government will never admit they're wrong. So the people have to get into their face. The people, I have to put my finger in Harry Reid's nose. I have to point my finger right in his nose. I say, Harry Reid, listen to me. You are wrong. You're an overreaching monster who is enacting revenge on your enemy. Harry Reid, you're a monster trying to enact revenge on Cliven Bundy and the whole family. And the federal government will never, ever admit they're wrong. So that's why we have to stand up to the bully. Remember, when a bully comes at you, the bully wants you to lower your head and shut up. No, you stand up tall, you put your finger in Harry Reid's nose, and you say, Harry Reid, stand down, you're wrong, you're a bully, you're an overreaching thug. And this battle will go on for many, many years. The government will never, ever admit they're wrong until the last moment when and then Gandhi, finally in India, After they arrested Gandhi and they called Gandhi a criminal, finally the redcoats said, "Okay, Gandhi, you were right. You were right. You were right."